And it's all Agit Pie's fault.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, it is. It is.
Filthy Verizon lawyer going into government jobs just to work for Verizon some more.
Him and his big
Him and
old
Hamana.
big old humna. All right, welcome to Depths of Gaming, episode 37.
Greetings, everybody. How are you today?
Indeed, we're doing good today because we get to rant about net neutrality. Agit Pie is a doo-doo head.
No.
He is. His head is full of doo-doo.
I see.
He
basically what's happening right now is that I believe that the FCC Commission will have voting this December, and until then, you as in American people, can go in and voice your opinion again, because we have to do this again, because some idiot is trying to pull out of it again. So obviously this is a very shitty situation, and Necro, aren't you going to help me with this?
Well,
I am not very versed in.
You were explaining it, I thought.
Well, I am not very well versed in how American government works, because I'm not.
That's because it doesn't.
Oh?
No, I say it doesn't because it's supposed to be a representative democracy, and Agit Pie therefore is a representative of someone.
I see. And who is he representing?
He is
Verizon?
representing Verizon and various internet companies and companies that profit from the internet, because he wants to make it so that cable companies are able to throttle the internet of websites they don't like and then increase the internet connectivity of websites they do like.
I see.
So they want to create a corporate feel to the internet.
Basically, what they're trying to do is make sure that every single website on the internet is in a different package. So if you want to play video games on the internet, you need to buy yourself a gaming package. If you want to play if you want to use Wikipedia, you have to buy yourself an education package. If you want to visit Facebook, well, you have to buy yourself a social media package. And of course, the Twitter, which comes with logically would you use with Facebook, right? It will be in a different package, so that to force you to buy as many packages as possible.
Yeah, they want to milk you for money. That's what they're trying to do.
Yes, and many people would actually tell you, oh, then just use a VPN. Except that if
it's really not how it works, though.
No, because if they see that you're using VPN, they can just say, okay, he's using VPN. Let's cut him off completely.
It's a very common misconception that the government is actually unable to do anything about all of the tricky hacker software that exists. No, they're perfectly capable of counteracting it. They just don't, because it's above their notice most times.
Yeah.
The second there is pressure from the corporations for the government to do something, they do it. That's how this works. So the very second they benefit from killing those programs, they'll do it.
Besides, if they want to... It doesn't only come to the fact whether they can or can't, because they can do it. The fact is that in order to do it, they need to know what the fuck you're doing, and for that they need to open your packages that you're sending across the internet, and that's a violation of privacy. So if they can basically say that if you want to have internet connection, you have to tell them that, oh, I don't care about my privacy, you can take my privacy away, and then they will basically able to sell you packages based on what they spy you for. And if you still want to keep your privacy, even though you said you say you don't, they can basically block every service that tries to cipher and keep your packages encoded. So there is no way around that. If there is no freedom of information, if there is no net neutrality, then
right.
It's yeah.
Plus his whole talking. So he has all these talking points, right?
Oh yeah, Ajit basically was, we want small government. We want as little government intervention as possible so that we can have all those innovations in the internet. Except the fact that the only innovation that's going to happen will be how many ways you can fuck the customer over.
Well, small governments always is a classic Republican talking point, and in this way, he's said things like, "It's time for the government to stop micromanaging the internet." Now, the thing is, he makes all these claims. He says the government's doing this, you have to be protected from this, and he just says it, and we're supposed to take it at face value. And the thing is, he's not realizing that if without backing it with information, he's just looking really shady. And the reason he looks so shady is he is indeed shady. He is taking
not
money.
Only that, whatever information he does backs up, it has no coverage in reality at all. Because he basically says, there were no investments into expanding the infrastructure on the internet under the thing, right? When the net neutrality was in effect, right? But that was basically because the big corporations said they wouldn't, and they told their investors that it's not going to affect their bottom line. They don't have to expand because there is no pressure for them to do so. There is no competition on the market. That's the reason why they're not expanding. So it's all half-truths and bullshit coming from this guy's mouth. And I'm pissed off at it, even though I am not in America, because it's going to fucking affect me. Well, and I cannot say anything.
We set world policy, and when it comes to the internet, we set world policy. So this notion that it only affects us is ridiculous. The internet is relied upon worldwide for services. We provide services to many countries through the internet. That's how small businesses are supposed to thrive in this new economy. So
internet is heritage, humanity's heritage. It belongs to all of us. And when one country starts fucking with it, everyone's affected. For example, the Great Internet Wall of China. A lot of content that is basically inaccessible to us because it's from China. Because Chinese officials are not going to give us access to it. The only way to do so, to have free exchange, is through VPNs, but even that is not fully available. Yeah. Especially since if you use... that's another bullshit thing that's coming from China. If you use VPNs, your citizen score in China will go down. That means you become
That's
untrustworthy.
right. They
citizen.
have the citizen score thing there. Yeah.
Yeah, and US wants to introduce that too,
Yep.
because it works so well.
It really doesn't.
Right?
No, it's an artificial. It's the new age way of classism. That
Oh, not just that. It's complete and utter bullshit, because your score is dependent on the score of your friends. So if you have a rebel amongst you, nobody wants to be connected to him,
yes.
right? So basically, you want to isolate yourself from people who actually want to do good for you.
Yeah.
Because they're untrustworthy. They are anti-government.
It's
right?
It's neo-feudalism at its best. Because all of the poor people, they're going to have low scores. All of the rich people, they're going to have high scores. So,
and the only way to get a better score is to suck cock of the government.
Yeah. Well, or to be affiliated with a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just bad news bears. But moving on, because we could talk about this all day.
Oh, I would love to shit on Ajit Pai for the entire day. I would love to. I would love that.
Total War Arena is heading into open testing. This game has been around for years upon years. However, it's been in a testing period because it swapped hands from Sega to now it's getting published by Wargaming, and so they finally got it going pretty steadily. I played a few matches this morning. There's not much to say except for it's a total arena game with massive multiplayer. It's quite fun, quite frustrating, but that happens in team games. You get a lot of people just watching you get murdered.
I do enjoy the fact that this is going to be basically 20 multiplayer game as well.
Yeah.
Because 10 versus 10, right?
Yeah, it's 10 versus 10.
Yeah, sounds awesome. I would love to see a recording of that. So yeah.
I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's worth playing if you love Total War. I think it's going to hook a lot of the Total War player base once it goes in full swing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't have much to say about it. I'm sorry, because I'm not really into those Total War games.
Which is funny, because strategy games are supposed to be a European demographic.
Yeah. I am much more into like I guess shooters, RPG shooters like Fallout. These are basically my jam. But from the Total War games, I believe that I have Warhammer.
We've played battles
version.
before, yeah. We haven't played in Warhammer though. So on
it's a shame it's only 2-player.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
That's been the issue with it. Now with this game, we're actually able to play in a group. So so that'll be fun. And
if we could have 10 versus 10 Warhammer game,
that would be awesome. Yeah,
that would be awesome.
I mean, we'd all have 3 units, but it would still be pretty fucking awesome.
I would sell my soul for that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. Dwarf Fortress released a kind of world map mode.
Speaking for different kinds of game, Dwarf Fortress, yes, it's they're basically creating this time in this update. They will allow you to send your dwarves, basically arrange them in a raiding party, and send them off to raid other like encampments for their for their unique treasures. So basically, you can get your dwarfs to return to your keep with a haul of treasures and boost your own boost the worth of your keep, which is awesome. And another thing, they also allow also another new thing in the update is the fact that you can create a museum that, in addition to your inn, is going to be another attraction for other people to basically come in and visit. And a third thing, those raids that we were talking about, they might not always be successful, and your dwarfs might end up captured. Yeah. So there will be a necessity for you to create a new rescue party to basically go in and bust them out, which I would love to basically be I don't know if this is something that happens off screen or something that the player can control.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it is something that player can control, man, it's going to be awesome.
And so I've heard that people have been using this to find relics and artifacts, but they've also been declaring war on the elves.
Yes, fuck elves. Clip their ears. Nobody likes elves. It's basically an in-joke amongst Dwarf Fortress players that elves are stuck-up idiots that all they're good for is for being raided by dwarves and killed.
Yeah, dwarves are really, really racist against elves in Dwarf Fortress.
I mean, the elves are horrible because they come into your their caravans will come to your fort. They will sell you shit, and let's say, for example, that they sold you a bottle of wine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you realize, well, I don't really want that bottle. Let me just just give it back and change it for something else. And as soon as you sell it, they are like, "Oh no, you're using trees, and you have the audacity to sell products made out of trees to us! How dare you!" And this is basically the reason why dwarves are like, you know what? Particle collider on you. And give us all your stuff. Because you have to make elves pay. You have to.
Yeah, fuck elves. Fuck elves. Belgium is pushing to
exists.
Yeah, Belgium does exist. It is a country in Eurasia. Mm-hmm. And yes. They have declared loot boxes gambling and are going to the EU to get them to declare loot boxes gambling throughout the EU.
Yeah, not only Belgium but also France,
Poland. Yeah, France, Poland,
I don't know if Poland, but definitely Holland.
Oh, that's right. Those are two different countries.
Yes.
The Dutch.
Precisely. All those countries are basically setting up, looking at the loot box microtransactions, and they're saying, no. You are greedy, EA. You are way too greedy. We're going to tax you. And people are going to love us for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to give us a lot of political points if we tax you.
It's glorious because this is further proof that Ajit has no idea what he's fucking doing, because he has decided to launch this crusade against the internet right as we're fighting for for a pure internet.
Yeah, the entire loot boxes debacle is showing everyone that corporations are incapable of policing themselves. They are incapable of keeping their own greed in check.
The majority of all oil pipes leak. And the reason all oil pipes leak is because corporations skimp on the maintenance. That's why they always fucking leak. That's why we've been telling the Keystone XL people, don't do this. But they're doing it anyway, and they don't give a shit.
Keep your shit together. Yeah. And they will do it over and over and over again, because it's cheaper that way, because they need to have increase their profit margin.
And so if we can't count on corporations to keep gallons upon gallons of oil leaking out into nature, how can we rely on them to manage the internet?
Exactly. And the entire debacle with the... And my question is, where the fuck is ESRB? Because ESRB's sole purpose for existing is to catch these things and make sure that government does not want to control gaming. Because the only reason why ESRB was created was to keep the government from meddling with video gaming. If they did their job right, they would look at what EA was doing and they would say, okay, we know that this might not even be gaming according to our definition, but it's so fucking close that we're going to slap our rating on it anyway. And that's basically what they should do. They didn't do it because they said, oh, it doesn't give you any monetary benefits and you will always get something out of it. So it's not gambling, so it's for kids. Which is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this loot box thing is so bad for gaming because it's teaching people that it's okay to be nickel and dime for entertainment.
Yeah, it's basically habit forming. They are exploiting the same process that's happening in the brain that creates gambling addictions. And even though the processes that they... even though you're not actually winning any money out of it, even though you always get something out of a loot box, that doesn't mean that this habit-forming part of your brain isn't getting a shot of dopamine every single time you open a loot box. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't give you a short high that you then become dependent on. And that's basically the reason why governments, even though this is not technically gambling, are looking at it and basically saying, wait a minute. Even though this is not gambling, this is still wrong, and this should not be available for children. Which they wouldn't have to do if the ESRB did their fucking job. So you can take that for whatever it's worth. ESRB does not exist in order to make sure that the corporation to be a shield for the corporation.
Yeah.
It should be a governing body that ensures quality products and it ensures that customers are protected from predatory corporate practices.
Absolutely.
Because if gamers are not protected like that, they're going to look at the government and say, "Look at this shit! Look at what they are allowing corporations to do. Do something about it." And the government will, and it will be happy to do so.
Okay, moving on to an answer that nobody wanted.
My problem with rules and Xanthars. By Con R2112.
This is more of a rant. One of my players just got Xanathar's Guide to Everything and is sending me all these pages of new rules for cool things that they can do, like robbing people, which involves spending 1 week of downtime and 25 gold pieces to research a target, and then make a very specific series of checks and a specific amount of gold determined by a table. I'm like, this is so dumb. Where's the roleplay? Why are all these rules so mechanical? What? And that's just one multitude of cool role-playing story dynamics that are rendered lifeless by specific rigorous rules, charts, and tables. Needless to say, I don't plan on running my game like this, but it seriously gives me doubts as to whether or not I need to talk to my players about the fact that they're playing a role-playing storytelling game and not a narrated video game. So, this is interesting.
Yeah, thing number one. Those tables are there for you as a game master, right? It's up to you to basically... you are the ultimate rule setter. Even if something is in a book, you can overrule it in order for other gamers to have fun. And if you don't like something, you can change it.
Yeah.
But all of those things are in the books to help you to create a roleplay.
Yeah.
They're not there to replace it.
A lot of the downtime mechanics are there for Adventure League players anyway. Because they're the ones who use downtime the most. I agree though. He's looking at this book and saying these are the new rules, and I'm going, well, that's not entirely true. And he's also saying that detailing anything suddenly makes it not fun, which is a very pedestrian way of looking at it. So take Jumping in Traveler. It's a task chain. You'd make 2 specific checks that are affected by each other, and if you fail this check, bad stuff happens. If you succeed, nothing bad happens. And so I don't see that as a boring mechanic, because through this mechanic, you know whether or not something good or bad is going to happen. So this notion that all rules... So, wait a second. When we make attacks, is that boring because it uses rules? What's the gauge that he's using here? I think he's just being pedantic.
Yeah, basically, what you're supposed to do in situations like this is to encourage your players to roleplay and say, even though they're pointing at specific rules and tables and roles, they are supposed to express what they're trying to do. Oh, I'm going to visit Ahmed from the magic store, and I'm going to fiddle around with him, and maybe we will play some games, some poker, and I will eventually buy something from him, right? You can. It's up to the players, the people, to roleplay, because books are there only to set constraints, so that no one can say, oh, I pull out of my ass a sword of ultimate slaying and I kill everybody who is evil and I saved the day. The game's over.
Yeah, like the robbing mechanic there is for you to plan a heist. And it's people might want to abuse it, but that's not what it's for. And you interpret the dice rolls into role-playing information. That's how being a GM works. That's what all the dice mean. That's what all the numbers mean. They all translate to stuff. It is your purpose to filter this information into role-playing.
Yeah, you can present it however you want. That the flourish You don't have to say, oh, you swing your sword on this guy and do 6 damage. You don't have to do that. You can say, your character is reaching up, pulling his sword up into the air and slashing it down on the enemy, cutting its ear off.
Watch Dragon Strike, for fuck's sake. No?
No.
No?
No. That's too much work.
No? No? Anywho, so this is just... he doesn't really understand the spirit of it. He might be a new DM. That's fine. He'll figure it out. Because the charts, rules, tables, those are all there to help you. You don't have to use them if you don't want to. That is our show.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you.
Sorry to... Yep, we took about an hour and 40 minutes now. We're sorry for taking that much time for you. But yeah, we had a lot to talk about and a lot of important stuff, so thank you.
You're counting the prep time.
Maybe.
Because we've only been streaming for half an hour.
Oh.
I know. Time flies when you're making fun of Agit Pie. I know.
Oh, right. Yeah, because during the prep time we also were shitting on him.
It's because we've been shitting on Agit Pie so hard this morning that it felt like we were doing the show.
Yeah, and by the way, we encourage everybody to visit the FCC website in order to tell them what you...
Go talk to them about net neutrality. Send an email.
Educate them, because obviously they don't know what it means.
Educate them. And we're done.